Higround has grown to be the most controversial gaming keyboard in the last couple years. Now, their timing couldn't have been perfect. Right after they were bought out by 100 Thieves, they focused their marketing on TikTok Shop, IG, and Twitter, and it worked. Some even claiming that they were the most popular gaming keyboard on TikTok, regardless if it is good or bad. Now, I've spent some time over the last year using their cheaper base 65 keyboard and even their more expensive quote-unquote flagship aluminum cased version. Both sound and look great for my personal preferences. I will say on a lot of the designs that the numbers and letters are harder to see. So if you're not good at typing without seeing those things, it's going to be a little difficult. Enough of my experience, because apparently in the keyboard world that doesn't matter. Today I'm more focused on, is this keyboard a scam? By now, depending on who you follow, you may have heard that this is the best gaming keyboard or the worst, two opposite ends of the spectrum. And I think that's where my biggest gripe comes in, is this keyboard is based in the battlegrounds between two demographics of people who are more than willing, in most cases, to blow their money on shit they don't need. Like, the argument itself is so fucking pointless. We're talking about the debate of spending time, money, and resources on gaming keyboards. I like to point that out because while in the gaming space, sure, there are a handful of professional, high-end level players that do use some of these marketed best gaming devices. Like the highest end products that are articulated to give you the best advantage and edge in gaming. But on the flip side, there's still pro and high level players that use the generic shit too. The same shit you can grab at Walmart and Best Buy. Or the mainstream brands that clearly cut corners, don't provide the actual best product for gaming, but still sponsor their players into using their devices. All these individuals competing at the same level with the variety of different devices. And on the flip side, you have a lot of just average day-to-day gamers that buy all the highest end, best of the best, and they still fucking suck at games. I think that's healthy to point that out because I feel like Higround's whole thing is to just make consumer keyboards cooler. Like, sure, this clearly doesn't compete with the crazy custom keyboards that enthusiasts make and compare these two. And I also know that there are some smaller brands that don't invest enough money to getting pushed out there that are essentially the same quality as this for cheaper price. But of course, the general consumer doesn't know about these brands because those brands in itself don't do enough to push their product ahead of the competition. But ultimately, if they did that, they would have to raise the prices of their products, which, welcome to capitalism. But I don't think that's really Higround's market per se, to be the best in gaming, to be the best enthusiast keyboard. Even their whole about them statement on their site is, Higround is a lifestyle and computer peripheral brand that seeks to be the expression of elevated gaming culture. More so being designer-esque. It's not like they're trying to do the same thing as Logitech with their 60% keyboard claiming to be the best of the best in gaming. Because really, when a keyboard is just good enough, but looks dope, is any publicity bad publicity? Like, I took the time to watch some of these in-depth reviews on the Higround keyboards, and you definitely could tell which ones were enthusiasts and which ones were your average consumers. And if you're a super keyboard enthusiast, you should definitely check those videos out, especially if you're super competitive. Optimum put out a lot of great information on adjusting the performance version to get better timing on the switches and how it compares in the latency of pressing a button. But a lot of other enthusiast reviews typically had the same structure to them. They went down the line and could pick out a lot of constructive criticism, doing a great job of comparing and showing what they could have done differently, like really taking this thing apart, ultimately coming to the same conclusion that they say it's not as good as it could be for the cost, but all finally saying it's not that bad. In fact, none of them saying flat out, don't buy this keyboard, but more so it could be better for the price or cheaper, and it's not really for them right now. Mentioning if you're an average consumer and you're stepping up from a generic upgrade, it's definitely going to be better. All mentioning that you could get alternative options, you could mod it yourself to be better, or just do a custom build and have the same quality. But I think really that's why Higround does do so well and make so much noise. I feel like Higround's marketing is more so to make cooler keyboards more common, taking advantage of more mainstream collaborations and making sure their keyboard is just sick right out of the box. I mean, you can't tell me these Pokemon drops aren't sick as fuck, or this Attack on Titan version. I don't even watch the show and I want this. Even the Street Fighter one they sent me is dope. And I think that's really why people are buying these and why they're justifying paying for these, is the idea and the rarity without having to build it yourself. Like obviously if you just built your own keyboard, that would be super rare. But even I, somebody who's into tech and is somewhat into keyboards, built my own keyboard. And I personally lost so much interest when I got way into the details. Like I don't care to lube shit and have like the best sound out of it. And I totally get for some individuals that's clearly their thing. But what really stuck out to me is when I showed people what I put together, a lot of the custom keyboard community was actually super fucking douchey about stuff that I personally thought was cool, because I didn't do the thing that they would or went the route that they typically go down. I'm all of a sudden not like a part of the cool kids club. Like the gatekeeping in that fucking community is so ungodly annoying. So while a lot of people who jerk off to their keyboards compare Higround keyboards to the things that they would build, I think we overlook the fact that all gaming marketed keyboards have gone up. And if you give me the option between $235 for some generic Logitech gaming keyboard or this, obviously I would be more drawn to this. And it really does do a good job at making that connection from general generic bullshit to making you want to wonder what goes into this and to feed that interest a little bit more. And I think that's the market that Higround's really trying to capitalize on. To be honest, these prices for keyboards in general are fucking ridiculous. I don't really imagine spending $235 on a keyboard, so I really am the wrong person to ask if this is a scam or if it's worth it. I think, or more so understand, that most products are a scam. Even your favorite keyboard companies with your highest quality option to build the most badass custom shit still pay pennies on the dollar and tell you that things are in short supply, so there's more demand for it. Fun fact, that's how all businesses operate. To be honest, for somebody like me, I'm a little bit more simple. My favorite keyboard is my Logitech MX Mechanical Mini keyboard. It costs $150, and even at that price, I was hesitant, but it's wireless. It allows me to switch through 3 devices, and it gets the job done, and I like how it looks. So most likely for somebody like me, if you give me the best keyboard on paper for $235, I'm still gonna find a hard time justifying it. And I think that's what a lot of people forget in this conversation, is I'm not the only one that thinks like that. There are loads of people out there that just simply don't give a shit like you do. So while nothing annoys me more than brands trying to sell you dreams through products, I also can't stand when consumers create annoying battles because they're hobbits. Fuck, is that a typo? They're hobbyist. I also can't stand when consumers create annoying battles because they're hobbyists. This goes in both directions. Those who are super against Higround because it stands against the narrative or culture of the thing that they're into. You're not getting the most optimized, clickety-clackety, lubed up, sounds the best option at that price. Or on the flip side, those who are super into Higround because Nadeshot's their favorite streamer and they want to feel cool. You're most likely watching this on your iPhone or computer that's charging you like 200% on the cost while you drink down a $1 to $5 cup of coffee that only costs 10 cents to make. It's a flashy, cool looking keyboard that's convenient. And for me, I would much rather spend $135 on this over some generic shit from Walmart or building it myself. And that is mostly a result from really good marketing. And look, if you want people to know more about the alternative, cheaper options that get you so frustrated, yell at the fucking brand. Tell those brands to stop fucking sucking at their marketing. That's not my problem. That's not your problem. That's the company's problem. And it's good to point out too that I'm not with Higround. They sent me out these keyboards a year ago because of my dashing good looks, obviously. They didn't ask me to make this video or any of the videos that I've made previously. They haven't paid me for any of this. I don't even get a commission or a kickback. That's right. I don't even have a fucking code with Higround. I love pointing that out, by the way, because I get absolutely bricked up watching like the super enthusiasts squirm over the fact that I'm just giving them free marketing. It just really does make my day. All in all, buy what you want to buy, get as in-depth into your hobbies as you would like to, but stop trying to use the word scam only when it benefits your point about something that you're not into. It's a fucking keyboard, people. Come on.